Sheriff Ray Nash here with Police Dynamics Media. We're going to talk for a few minutes about this whole idea of reactive policing. You know, where we go from call to call to call based on a 911 call, it's a 911 driven approach. Y'all call, we come. And we go to all kinds of crazy things. And we go to calls that have absolutely nothing to do with accomplishing the police mission. My favorite call is the snake in the house call. You know, back home I got this great big swamp, 4-hole swamp. It's the largest remaining virgin cypress swamp in the world. And it's right smack dab in the middle of Dorchester County. It divides that county geographically, but it also divides it sociologically. I mean, there really is a different kind of person that lives above the swamp versus those that live below the swamp, and consequently we have to police them, you know, slightly differently. But in the middle of the swamp, or in the middle of the county, is this great big swamp, and during the warmer months, which is most of the year in South Carolina, the critters will venture out of the swamp and occasionally get into people's houses. And we get the snake in the house call. Now I want you to think about this for a minute. You got a snake in the house and a deputy with a gun. That is a formula for disaster if I've ever heard of one. We had a snake in the house call a few years ago. A 4-foot canebrake rattlesnake got in a man's garage. And he called 911 and we sent a deputy. And you want to know what was interesting about this particular snake in the house call? The guy that called? He was one of my deputies. Now I got 2 deputies tied up on this cotton-picking snake in the house call. And it doesn't matter what part of the country I go to or where in the world we do this training, there's always some type of chronic call that is tying up our limited police resources that has very little, if anything, to do with accomplishing the police mission. And what's so amazing to me about this is not so much that people call us for all these crazy things, but we actually do what? We actually go. We send a deputy and tie up his valuable time dealing with these types of calls. And that's one of the reasons that reactive policing is not the most effective approach to law enforcement.